Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Nyet, Clutter, to Simplicity. Today, we want to talk about self-maintenance and self-care as minimalists.
That's good.
What are your top 3 low-effort, high-impact self-care habits?
Okay. So first off, sleep. I try to sleep 8 hours a night. And this is something when I was younger that I didn't care about. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I would pull an all-nighter. I'm a musician. So I would play, until 4 in the morning and then wake up at 8 and go to school or something like that. And now it's something that I care for a lot. So I have this whole thing in my condo where the lights, they start shutting off an hour and a half before bed, gradually by room, right? So it gets darker and darker as it gets closer to my bedtime.
It's so funny because I actually do that for my son. Like an hour before he's supposed to go to sleep, I just turn up the light and we watch the sunset. And it gets darker in our apartment. And then we tell him that the sun went to sleep. It's like he should go to sleep.
Here you go. I'm going to start telling myself that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to help. I also have some essential oil diffuser on my bedroom, and I start that. I try to go to bed a bit earlier than my bedtime is. So sleep would be my first one. The second one, another thing that started after I turned 40 is I watch what I eat now, and I don't eat a lot anymore. I don't overconsume, and I watch everything I eat. I'm eating a lot of vegetables. I do intermittent fasting. We discussed that in a previous episode. So I don't have breakfast anymore. And the days that I'm at the office is like a land of snacks and everyone has a snack. So my body is now kind of like, he doesn't understand it because the bio kind of adapts to yourself, right? So now when I have something before noon, my body says, oh, okay, this is new. What are we doing here? So it's very funny.
It's like, party!
Yeah, like, oh, we're eating now. Okay. So this is not something that I did before. And so I've been 5 years into this and it's been very helpful. I feel lighter. I feel better during the day, more agile, and my thoughts are clear. And the third thing that I do is I try to exercise 4 times a week. So I go to the gym twice and I do yoga twice in my living room. And I say this is low effort because I have a gym in my building. So I don't pay extra to go to the gym. I don't have a subscription to a gym. And I don't have to take my car and go to the gym or go anywhere. I just go downstairs. So basically it's just the discipline of, okay, today is gym day, go to the gym. Today is yoga day, get your mat out, let's do some yoga.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I have very similar things. So my number one is just staying active. So I've always lived centrally, like in my adult life, and I continue to do so. And I talked about it previously. And that's because I walk everywhere. If it's an hour, even an hour and a half distance away from me walking, I will actually walk it. And we do have a car, and there is public transportation, but I choose to walk. I think there's so many, it's meditative, hopefully the sun is shining, and so it's natural vitamin D. I love that. And along with that, I do try to keep active, either running or lifting weights. Right now, my routine has changed because I'm working and I'm a mom of a small child. So I try to go, before it used to be like 3 to 4 times at the gym. Now it's more like one day of running and then one day of weights. But I always walk the dog in the morning, which is always about 4 to 5 kilometers of like a brisk walk with her.
On one shot, you're doing like 5 kilometers. That's
Yeah.
If there were 4, because you said top 3, if it was a top 4, for me it would be walking. I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
I moved closer to my work so I could walk to work, and I 100% agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
It clears my mind in a way that nothing else does.
Nothing else does. And walking is such an underrated exercise. What people don't understand is that actually most of our muscles get used while we're walking, including our core and back neck and legs and arms and everything. And it's such a low impact thing you can do for your health overall.
Mhm.
And I would say that's that's the one thing I do. I try to eat well. Also, less is more in Odo for me, just the same as for you. So trying not to overeat and trying to get clean ingredients and cook at home. And yeah, rest definitely. I am a bad sleeper, so I'm a very light sleeper. I struggle with insomnia. When I was pregnant, I had pregnancy insomnia for the entire 9 months. It was really hard because you're really tired, but you can't sleep. Um, but rest overall. So is important to me. Like just sitting down a little bit or just laying down on the couch or just being in a restful environment, which doesn't have to be sleep. But I actually read somewhere that apparently, even if you just lay down and close your eyes in a dark space,
Mhm.
even if you're not sleeping, it actually does signal to your body that you're resting. So that's kind of where I'm at just because I have hard time sleeping.
Right.
Mm,
Were you always like that?
I think so, yeah.
But did you always like resting?
Um, I'm a very active person, and I can't say that I rested a lot in my life
Okay.
because I'm very much like a little bunny where my heart rate is up and I can't sit still and I'm
Yeah.
always doing things around. And then at the end of the day, I just like plop on the couch or go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I used to be exactly the same. And again, last 5 years, I changed the mindset before. And this is how I was raised in Brazil. Everyone's like that. If you are resting and recovering, you're not being productive.
What is the most high maintenance thing you do?
Yeah, so that's a hard one because we had a discussion yesterday about what high maintenance is, right? And then
Oh,
I was thinking about financially wise, what is the high maintenance thing
well,
that you do? So, as everyone know, if you're following the podcast, I there are three sports that I like. There's auto racing, Formula One. There's basketball. I follow the NBA, and there's baseball. I follow the MLB. And there are three teams that I follow: McLaren, Los Angeles Lakers, Los Angeles Dodgers. And growing up in Brazil, I never had access to watch the teams as much as I wanted. Something that I always wanted to do because it's dear to my heart. I really like the sports. I relax when I'm watching them. It's a weird thing, but I get nervous and relaxed at the same time. And now that I have the opportunity that I'm living here, the high maintenance is to following them because of two things. First, they're all in different apps. So I have to pay for different apps. Right?
oh,
Yeah. So there's an app for baseball. In Canada, the basketball coverage is split between two apps, and then there's the Formula One app.
mm,
So there's three apps that I'm paying currently. Subscribe to them, and because two of my teams are in LA in Formula One season, one third is in Asia, and another third is in Europe. We also have the time zone constraints, right? So there are two issues here, and that's why I thought it was high maintenance, the money that I'm investing every month and the time that I'm investing every month.
no,
Like sometimes I will wake up in the middle of the night to watch a race or, those kind of things. And when my teams are playing in LA, I have to stay long, like I have to stay
yeah,
past my bedtime.
yeah,
But this is something that I'm calibrating because sleep is very important,
right.
as I already talked about. So it's a case by case scenario now.
Mhm.
With the Formula One app, you can watch a replay of the race.
Whoa, whoa.
So if the race is at 4 in the morning, I go like, do we need to screw up my sleep, right?
Right.
Because sleep is not something that you can recover.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, no, you're just gonna recover the next day, you sleep more. No, your brain doesn't think like that.
20-year-olds say that.
Yeah, no,
People
let's do
over
it all nighter,
30,
and
yeah,
then the
no,
next day,
no.
let's sleep 50 hours. No,
Listen, when you're over 30, game over.
no. So this is a case by case scenario. I'm prioritizing sleep now more, and I'll watch replays or highlights
All right.
the next day. But that would be I know it sounds silly to most people, but this is the most high maintenance thing I do for self care.
It's so funny. I want Formula One to be the most high maintenance thing I do. I wanted to get us tickets to the Montreal Formula One race a few years ago, but it was like 6K just to be there, just to go there. Not really great tickets, etc. And my husband didn't let me because he was just like, "Do we really need this?" And I was like, "Well, I don't need it." But I want it.
Well, once you have to do
But
it
now,
once.
but listen. So now there's a plan. 40th birthday in Monaco.
Yes.
Watching the race from Riyadh. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps.
Oh, wow. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe use the Montreal wine as like an appetizer.
Hell no. I'm putting all of my finances. Are you crazy? I'm going to drop like
I went-
25K.
So I went last year. I went for the first time. I have a colleague at work, and she had 2 tickets.
No way.
It was only for qualifying, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
because The seats are not great. And then I thought, for the race, you have to be there 2 hours before, right? So it would be like a 4-hour thing sitting on like a metal stool. It was not great for your back or whatever. I'm over 40.
Yeah.
So what we did, so she's like, "Do you want to go?"
Wow.
And then I was like, "Yeah, I want to go." And then she said, "The ticket's already paid for. You drive my car, you pay for the gas, you pay for the food and everything, and then we'll go." And I was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to go. I'm 100% in." So I went, and it was one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it.
To hear the sound of those cars,
Right.
it was just insane.
Stop
And
it.
qualifying was great. It rained like 3 times because it's Montreal.
Yeah, it's
so it
Montreal,
would rain
always
and then it would
rains.
stop raining.
Yeah.
It rained and it stopped raining. But it was amazing, and it was something that I felt, and we're gonna talk about this later. Being simplifying your life and being a minimalist allowed me to have the space in my schedule and have the space in my budget to do something like that, like a spur of the moment thing.
Right.
Like she let me know like a couple of weeks before. So, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna drive and all that." I was like, "Yeah,"
But even if it was the same day, you would have just like gotten up and went.
because I have I have the schedule for it. I have the space in my schedule for it, and I have the space in my budget for it.
Yeah. So I need to answer this question too. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So, what is the most high maintenance thing that you do?
I
I
don't.
wished it was Formula One.
Yeah, I think the like everyday most high maintenance thing I do is take a shower, and on a regular basis is probably going to a spa,
Okay.
which doesn't even cost that much money, to be honest, or takes that much effort or anything. But that's the only thing I can think of.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It really depends on the person, right? Where their priorities are.
Yeah.
To some people, it's a lot of money and it's like a waste of time,
Right.
especially if you don't know how to slow down.
But I'm Russian, and so I really missed like a Russian banya situation
Right.
where it's really hot and they take a thing and they spank you really hard on
So
your
that's
back,
Mhm.
which is
And
beautiful.
what is the frequency? How often? Like once a month?
No, probably like I have a child.
Like once a quarter?
Once a quarter, probably. But I took a few years of break because I was pregnant and then had a newborn. So we just restarted like in past December. So since December, I think we went twice.
Okay.
Yeah. How has your self-maintenance evolved since embracing simplicity?
So this is also something that we talked about yesterday. What is the difference between self-care and self-maintenance, right? And then I remember that I told you that going to therapy, meditating, journaling to me are self-maintenance. They're not self-care. I know a lot of people say on social media, "Oh, I'm doing self-care."
Yeah.
To me, that's self-maintenance. Since embracing simplicity, I really focus on the things that I really love. And I was able to not pay attention to the things that I don't care for. So that's really zeroing in the things that I like and spending money on the things that I like because I'm investing in myself. So yeah, meditating, journaling, going to therapy. That's been the main focus of my self maintenance, and we're gonna get into grooming afterwards. But that's been the case. And just like we talked about before, having the space, the brain capacity, because now I've slowed down everything I do. So now I reflect more on the things that are around me, and I don't do as many activities as I used to do during the day because I don't punish myself for not being productive. That's the point.
So the less things I have, the simpler my day looks like. So when I wake up, I get dressed in like 0.2 seconds, faster than a pit stop.
You would get the award for the fastest
um, and I don't have a lot of beauty products, and we will get into that. And my showers are very simple, so everything I do is very simple, very easy. Even going to the spa, like I have one swimsuit that I use and one pair of flip-flops, so just get ready and go. So yeah, it's kind of like whatever I do to take care of myself, or even go to the gym, like you were saying. My gym is also in my building. Before, I used to try a lot of different things. I used to commute because I used to love doing CrossFit. And so normally I would have to commute to a CrossFit gym. But now I'm like, no, I can't do this anymore. There are weights at my gym. And I found this wonderful lady on YouTube who I watch, and she runs me through workouts, which are 30 minutes. So I don't exhaust myself for like an hour or more. And yeah, basically everything I do to take care of myself is so easy.
Right. That is, yeah, I was just thinking about that when you were talking about the gym, that before I slowed down my life, I had this time limit in my head. And I would criticize myself for not spending more. Like if I was less than 1 hour at the gym, I would criticize myself for it. And now I do 10 minutes of elliptical, and I do 35 minutes of weightlifting. Because when I'm done, I'm done.
And what people don't know is that it's not about that. It's about consistency.
Yes.
You can do 10 minutes every single day,
Yeah.
and be fit.
Yeah. It's a completely, it changes your mindset when you slow down and you start appreciating yourself and the things you're doing, instead of criticizing yourself and telling stories to yourself. Oh no, I have to be more than 1 hour at the gym, otherwise I'm not being.
This is a really great segue to our next question, which is, how do you approach beauty and grooming? And since you started talking about self-criticizing, how about I go first and talk about my beauty and grooming? So in Moscow, I went to a really fancy, expensive private school. My parents sent me there because they wanted me to get really good education. So we were around all these people. We weren't those people. We were just around them. And so my class was really small, but boys in my class would tell me that I'm not pretty.
Oh my God.
And I think it's because of the kids who went in my school. They're really fancy, right? And they were getting procedures and buying expensive bags and luxury items, basically, right? So when I came to Canada and I started receiving attention that I've never received before, and also I started working and receiving my own money, I overcompensated in a lot of different ways. But one of the ways was makeup. And I didn't have a lot of makeup, but my mom never really exposed my sister and I to it, because she was pretty natural. Like, she never really used a lot of makeup. But it was something that I played around with. I just played with it. I had it. I played with it. I used a lot of it. It was an experiment until one day my Brazilian friend, Mauricio, he was just like, he looked at me and he's like, I think you're good without makeup. You should really stop using it. And it hit me like a brick of walls, because here I was just overcompensating and playing around with something at the same time, and I didn't stop to think what I was doing.
Right.
So then, I as I grew a little bit and started having more serious partners in my life, they would also comment on certain things about my appearance that perhaps like I don't need this or I don't need that, and that coincided with my journey of starting to love myself, right? Because when you're a teenager, you seek the approval of your peers. And when your peers tell you that you're not pretty, it it sticks with you forever,
Mhm.
right?
I agree.
So for the past 10 years, I would say the only beauty item I've had was mascara. I don't use anything else, and I have not used anything else. For this podcast specifically, I got a second makeup item.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, I have a small child who brings a different bouquet of diseases from daycare, like every second week, right? So I do have dark circles under my eyes, and I got like a little thing of a concealer
Mhm.
just for this podcast specifically. I never use it. I hate it, to be honest with you.
Right.
But I also don't want to look sickly for for people. So those are the two makeup items I have. And then my grooming is really simple. I get a haircut once a year.
Okay.
I don't dye my hair or anything else. I cut my own bangs. And just, like I was saying, the most high maintenance thing I do is I shower every second day.
I thought you were going to say every day.
No, not even
You don't want to know how many times I shower a day.
1 second. So you know what I've learned, or what I've been thinking about
Okay.
for the past few years, or maybe like 5 years, is that our bodies are really smart. So, for women, when you go through pregnancy, you're like shook. You're like, okay, I didn't do anything, but somehow I created this human with a brain and organs and a heart, and you're just like mind blown. You're like, whoa, my body is so smart, right? For men, it's probably when you get a cut and then a heel at the toe.
Something like that.
And you're like, whoa! How did that happen?
Yeah, you can say
Um,
that, yeah.
So what I think we are now seeing again, coming back to our conversation about marketing and communications, is that the beauty industry is like, okay, you need this, you need that, blah blah blah.
True.
You need to moisturize here with this and there with that, and please have a 25-step morning routine. But I was thinking, I'm like, this makes no sense because we have our body and it knows what to do. Like, our skin heals itself. We make babies. Like, I'm sure it's aware of other things in our body that it
Right.
kind of needs to take care of. So for me, I don't, I barely wash my face. I wash it when I shower.
We're gonna get into my face.
Um, so that's why I don't know. I don't clean it or anything because
Right.
I allow for the natural oils in my skin to do their job. And then if I do need to moisturize, we do live in Canada. It's windy here, it's rainy, it's snowy, etc. So I have shea butter, just natural shea butter,
Yeah.
and I have I don't know how to pronounce it, the jojoba oil.
Oh, the Brazilian jojoba. Well, it depends on
The
in which language.
jojoba,
In
the
which language
jojoba
you wanna,
oil,
in which language you want to say. Yeah, in Portuguese, as you say jojoba.
the
Yeah.
jojoba oil.
I have no idea how to say it.
And then I have a deodorant and I brush my teeth.
We're including that in. Okay.
Well, I don't know. That's my self maintenance,
Okay.
beauty and grooming.
Okay. So I brush my teeth as well.
I brush them once a day.
Okay. Oh my god. Okay. So yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's some habits that they're ingrained in me because these are things that we do in Brazil that I just brought it over, and this is things that we do there that some people don't do it here, right? So I brush my teeth 3 times a day. I brush my teeth in the morning, and then at lunch, and then before I go to bed. Regarding grooming, and this is something that's very interesting. I used to get a haircut every 6 weeks
Mhm.
because I was trying to save money. Hear me out. Hear me
Yeah.
out. It's kind of weird, but it's important because my finances were not simplified and I was not focused on the things that I love, and I was not cutting the things that I don't care for. So I did not have money to get a haircut every 4 weeks, which is where I am now. So I would get my hair. I would ask the guy to cut it very short, and then I will look bad for 1 week.
Mm.
And then on week 5, my hair was so long that I started looking like I'm gonna murder everyone. Like I have the Wolverine. The Wolverine kind of, it just quotes like this. So then last year, I was thinking about this, and I was like, why don't I start cutting my hair every 4 weeks? But I don't ask the guy to go too short. So then I walk out of that and it looks good, right?
Yeah.
So I rebalance my finances, and now I get a haircut every 4 weeks. I shave 3 times a week
Mhm.
because I don't like hair in me.
Mhm.
And because I aggressively cut my own face by my own volition, right? Because that's what men do. If you shave yourself,
Oh,
you are
right.
aggressively cutting your. So
Yeah.
I wash my face every day. I have a sensitive skin kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I have a moisturizer that I use every day that is also an aftershave thing. And I have an evening moisturizer because I'm getting old. So this is my self-care routine, and it's important. And the days that I don't do it, or if I mess up with the shaving and whatever, it starts. I can see it.
Right.
My skin goes, oh, we're doing this now. So if I try to use like a regular soap on my face or something, it starts popping up stuff. And yeah. So now I have this routine, and that's what I'm doing.
How do you avoid self-neglect in the name of minimalism? So I think it comes back to our conversation about making space for things and spending money on things we prioritize. Because, for instance, my example could be, not going to the spa because I'm like, oh, I don't want to spend money on myself, or I don't want to take the time away from my family or my son or whatever it may be, right?
Right.
But once you learn your value and the life that you want to live, and you build your life a bit more proactively with things in mind that really matter to you, you spend money on it and time and other resources freely.
Right.
And you think of it as a priority versus, I'm doing this at an expense of someone else or whatever it may be.
When I decided to move closer to my work because I wanted to walk to work, I was like, okay, winter is coming. I need some stuff if I'm going to walk to work every day. So then I got noise canceling headphones. I got merino socks. I got a long john to wear under my pants because I was going to walk. I was going to be exposed. And then I got gloves. And then I got a neck thing because I'm not a scarf guy, but my mom got me this when she was here. She got me this neck thing that I can also cover my face with. And I got some beanies. And I was like, okay, now we're good to go. So I invested some money in myself so I could go. And I also got waterproof boots.
Yeah.
So then I could walk to work and feel okay. And then come back from work also walking and not be, not feel cold and not be wet and that kind of stuff. And so when I was reading that question, I was thinking about that if I did not do any of those things, I would be self-neglecting myself, thinking about, no, but I'm a minimalist, so I don't want to bring more stuff into my life. But if the stuff is useful and you're going to wear it every day, it's important to the things that you care for in life.
Yeah, it elevates your lifestyle.
Exactly. If it makes you happy and elevates your lifestyle, buy the things that you need. Okay, everyone. So this is it. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Anastasia, what is the question of the week?
The question of the week is, what's one small thing you do that makes you feel your best with minimal effort?
Don't forget to find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram. Until next time on Nyet to Clutter, to Simplicity, where we cut through the chaos and help you simplify work, life, and everything in between.
Bye.